Good afternoon. Welcome to the April 16th edition of Sports on Sunset. I have an incredible pair of testicles.
I am eating a donut.
The reason we're here today, going in yet another different direction. As you know, last weekend, the movie 42 opened across the country in theaters. The story of Jackie Robinson. Have you seen it yet, by the way?
No.
Great. I want to draw a parallel between two societies, us and the rest of the world, frankly. Okay?
We have a different society.
Yeah. We are all unique. The reason I bring it up is because often I hear people tell me and other folks that we should be more like Europe. I'm not going to argue whether or not we have the ideal society. Clearly, one of the points of 42 is to show what our prior generations, how our prior generations behave. And I know we haven't wiped it off, wiped racism off the map either. With that said, Europe is messed up when it comes to racism. It is amazing. It is an amazingly racist place. I would even argue, from what I'm seeing, it's almost even more of a prevalent issue than maybe here in the United States. Maybe. The reason I bring this up is last week, while people were flocking to see the movie 42, there was an edict issued to the fans of Newcastle United in England's Premier League not to taunt the Sunderland coach. The Sunderland coach, Paulo Di Canio, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it even right, Paulo Di Canio, he used to play soccer, obviously a lot of coaches are former players, described himself as, quote, a fascist, not a racist, in the wake of a 2005 Nazi power salute that he made off while he was leaving the field. He's not the only person who has made the white power gesture. In addition to that, I see photos all the time of fans, not all the time, but often enough, fans holding up giant Nazi flags. And you can also see photos of people making monkey gestures towards black players. It's not even just in Europe. There are certain clubs that have a belief that you should have all pure, whatever your country's dominant race is, in your lineup. Chivas of Guadalajara insists that all their players be Mexican. There's a team in Israel that insists all their players be 100% Jewish. So, what am I missing here? I'm not saying that the United States is ideal, but I'm making this open-ended. Tell me, what am I missing here? When it comes to racism, should we really be more like Europe?
I would dare say Europe is finally catching up to us.
In what?
In racism.
In how bad, or how?
In how bad the racism was once.
Okay. Right.
It goes back to Adolf Rupp, really. You know, back in the days when you're only allowed 2 black players on your basketball team, that kind of thing. Adolf Rupp said no black players, and then his team got smoked. So eventually, these teams will play other teams, and their teams will get smoked, and then those players will be murdered, because that's what happens in these other countries like Turkey. They kill the players when they lose. But I want to say, was it Iran? I think it was actually a British team. They lost. Someone found where the goalie lived after the game. They killed the goalie.
Yep.
That's the kind of thing that happens there. All across Europe and Eurasia and Asia. People kill the players because they lose. That's too big of a fan base to have when you have the psychos rooting for you as well. And that's where the basis of all this racism develops.
Well, the strange thing to me, one of the primary differences is not just necessarily in the behavior. In the United States, if you go to a ball game, maybe you don't like black people, maybe you don't like Latinos, etc. If you were the athlete on the field and I dropped an N-bomb on you from the field, maybe you don't even hear it.
Right. Because you're one of 100,000 people.
But the point being is that I would get stomped, probably. It's very likely.
If you're in the right section.
Well, even if I'm in the right section, I'd have to be surrounded by a lot of people, a lot of like-minded people, for me to get away with dropping a really loud N-bomb.
Well, here's the thing about that. It depends on what sport you're talking about. If you're in a basketball stadium where the tickets are sky high, people don't want to get thrown out of a game that they just paid $2,000 for a seat. So they'll call an usher over and then you'll deny it. Like, I didn't do that. And then you stay in the game. You drop another N-bomb or C-bomb or whatever bomb.
Well, I mean, obviously, because we went to war against the Germans, we would never see a giant Nazi flag fly in a major stadium. With that said, I can't imagine.
There's not many Buddhists playing in the NBA either.
Well, yeah, but what I'm getting at is that the idea of any sort of a white power symbol on a giant banner, I can't see that.
Not in American sports, no.
Yeah.
Because again, that would mean that.
But what the weird thing is that we have the First Amendment, which protects such speech.
Well, yeah.
But in Europe, you try, and the funny thing with England is that they tried to ban that in the stadium. You can get arrested, serve time for it, but it still goes on.
Right.
And it gets on enough to where it is seen.
Because they're creating martyrs. When you make something illegal that is just free speech, you make martyrs of these people.
What is the difference? Again, not to excuse American behavior, particularly in the time of Jackie Robinson, we were barbaric louts.
Oh, we still are.
Not nearly.
Okay.
Okay, tell me why I'm wrong.
Well, it's not so much racist, now it's sexist. But we talked about that last week. We talked about it ad nauseum, actually. But as far as...
Well, you're the one who brings it up.
Well, of course. Because I'm not racist or sexist. I'm misogynist. Maybe not. I'm sexy, but I'm not sexist. What I'm saying is this. Like we
Oh, there was a point.
Yes. What I'm saying is, as far as the advancements for our country, we've leaped ahead of where Europe is.
Why?
Mainly because we were forced to. We have so many people coming here that have settled here, that have been taken here, that as we are a melting pot, so to speak, you have to coexist. People in this country have discovered that you have to coexist. Other countries don't. They don't have to coexist. Everybody's Mexican, or everybody's Israeli, or everyone's British. And then we have people like Ghanaian, is it? I'll go with Zimbabwean. Zimbabwean players, individuals going to like Great Britain, and trying to become citizens and playing soccer, and they can't. No one accepts them. Muslim players go to different countries. They're not accepted. They go to France. They're not accepted. And that's the main issue. Other countries don't have to accept other countries' individuals anymore. America does.
So then what becomes the solution? Because if your culture, our culture being different, not necessarily, in the sense that maybe they come here for the economic reasons or what have you. If we are forced to assimilate, and they are not forced to assimilate, what is an alternative solution, if any? Because clearly the idea of banning racist gestures
Yeah, it's not gonna go.
We don't like racism here generally, but the idea of banning speech is pretty repugnant to a lot of us.
True.
So,
Because we all have our own shitty ideas.
right. But in Europe, what would be a solution, or in other countries?
What would be a solution? It's a solution I always offer, which is if
Genocide?
no, if we have a country full of people and they don't like a certain group of people, let those certain groups of people leave, and then watch everything go to shit. Because when you don't have someone to kick around, then you start kicking each other around.
A little bit too esoteric for the one.
Okay.
All right, one other thing then. Are you surprised that this is such an issue? FIFA is trying to take the marbles. FIFA's made efforts to try and stop it out, and it's not working. What is it about soccer that brings this weird behavior out of people?
Well, people are passionate about sport, and soccer is the, believe it or not, world's biggest sport.
I'm not disputing that.
Yeah.
But you don't see this. You don't go to say, I don't know. You don't go to Detroit or.
That's because, like, well, if you go to Detroit and you go to, let's say, a Pistons game, you go to a Pistons game, hell, let's even go to college. College is a better example. College students are passionate about their teams.
Mm-hmm.
When Michigan lost a couple of years ago, maybe it was like 4 or 5 years ago, they lost in NCAA tournament. And I think it was Michigan or Michigan State, one of the two. Those students rioted. They were burning things down. My alma mater, Southern Illinois University, our team was in the NCAA tournament, basketball. They lost. We rioted. Why? Because we had nothing better to do and we were passionate about a team that lost. And that's essentially what soccer is. People are passionate because this is pretty much all they have to be passionate about. You know, there's not a professional basketball team in Great Britain. There's not not one that anybody really cares about. You got Euro leagues, but there's not a football team. Nobody's watching cricket. Nobody wants to watch horse ballet in Great Britain.
Tell me what's on your mind.
Well, what's on my mind is so I was just reading up with it. What's on my mind was there was a story on YouTube. Not YouTube. Yeah, I am fucked.
Good man.
Yeah, tell it. So I can let this up again.
Friends, down in San Diego last week, a big brouhaha flared between the San Diego Padres and Los Angeles Dodgers after their Cy Young Award-winning pitcher Zach Greinke hit Carlos Quentin with a pitch. Quentin charged the mound, broke Greinke's collarbone. Greinke is out for 2 months, and Padre fans were rejoicing over the fact that a Dodger got injured. They've always disliked the teams from LA, and this, that, or the other. But one of the things that, in addition to some of the very bizarre things that I read posted about how happy they were that somebody got a collarbone broken, was, hey, yeah, because unlike the Dodgers, we're a team that shows some fight. Yeah, I want to see some fight out of the team. The Padres have only won once since then. Granted, it was last night in LA, but they lost 4 consecutive games, sank to the bottom of the standings. Why? Because that's what you get when you have a team that has fight to it. Yeah, let's fight. Let's not have talent. Let's not have capability, right? I mean, this was the main. Here was the other thing, aside from the fact of whether or not somebody got hurt. Carlos Quentin was the only guy who had any sort of batting ability in that lineup. The other guy, you had one other guy that could hit. He was hurt. So they needed Carlos Quentin in the lineup. They didn't need Carlos Quentin rushing the mound. They didn't need Carlos Quentin getting an 8-game suspension or breaking somebody's collarbone so that he could become a villain out of everywhere other than San Diego. Because the only people who think that Carlos Quentin did the right thing are the ones in San Diego. Why? Because they want a team with fight. They don't, and now you have nobody. Nobody who can hit. And what did you do? You sank right to the bottom of the National League West, where you're going to be for the rest of the year, compared with the Florida Marlins over in the East. Why? Because that's what you get when you have a team with fight. Yeah! Not a team with ability, a team with fight.
Man,
Sure.
because I found the story.
Good man.
As I was saying, on Yahoo, not YouTube, Yahoo, there's a story. You might have put it on shoulder pads and handcuffs today. I don't know because I haven't read it today yet. But there's a story about the Alabama coach who's in trouble for texting a student, a female student, while he was at a bar. Mm-hmm. These are grown-ups, right? They're grown-ups. Sure, she's not 21, but you know, grown-ups. Well, no, she's 21. She's 20. God damn it. It doesn't matter. What matters is this. He's not a teacher. He's an employee of that university. He's a coach of a team that's not her. She's not under his rule. Back in grade school, I was accused of sleeping with a teacher. Not kidding. By who? A couple friends of mine. Because I miraculously passed a class that I was supposed to have failed. I was called, my parents were called, and they said I was going to fail the class with all F's. 6 weeks left in the class. I got all C's. So I'm well aware of people accusing other people of having sex with teachers. That's not what this is. If a coach meets a female student off campus at a bar, they hit it off, he goes home and jerks one off to her, and then texts her a picture of the jerk off picture, there's nothing wrong with that. She gave them her number. Why not? Why are you making that face at me? You got a spit bubble on your lips. So, look, let this Alabama coach get all the nasty he wants. He's a grown-ass man. These are grown-ass women. She's not 17. She's grown. Hey, Alabama coach, get your money, man. Get your money.
So how was that teacher that you smashed?
I didn't have sex with Miss Dobbins, all right? I did not have sex with Miss Dobbins. Hi, Miss Dobbins. I didn't have sex. I didn't have sex with Miss Dobbins.
Who?
Miss Dobbins.
Oh, okay. That's her. I was like, I'm sorry. You fucking something.
That's okay.
It's not messed up. Well, it was already messed up.
Oh.
Just remember, I did not have sex with Miss Dobbins.
Did not say something.
I'm Miss Dobbins.